Hi folks, this is my final installation of the Creativity in Motion ideas, and I hope you like this one. So I thought, what's something different we could do with these animation sheets? So they come in a 12 by 12 size, but they're actually 12 by 12 and a half. You know, all of our papers, our pattern papers have a zip strip, and they included that ½ inch on this animation sheet. So you have to cut off this ½ inch piece, and you know, that could make a cool border just by itself. But I thought, ooh, can we color it with our alcohol markers? Yes, you can. And how exciting is that? So I did a little rainbow effect here, and it came out super cool. So I wanted to use that. So I'll show you how to make this card. I added a little bit of shimmer brush too on the happy. Did a little ombre stamping there to kind of pull in that fun rainbow tie-dye effect. And the little heart. So if you've got a leftover piece of this animation sheet that is a wonky size that is not going to fit one of your stamps anymore, use your thin cuts. Cut out some shapes with that. So here's just, and this is just a scrap of black. You know, when you cut your paper down from 12 by 12 to 8.5 by 11, you always have that 3.5-inch strip. So you can make little mini cards out of that little black glitter paper there too. So I thought that was a little fun idea. And the stamp set, this is a new one, the Wishing You Everything stamp set. That's the stamp that I'm going to use, but the bracket shape there that comes with the set and the thin cuts, I use that here to cut out of white, and I added a little black journaling pen border around there. So I just wanted the shape without stamping the words on it. All right, so let's show you how to do this. There is a right way and a wrong way. So I have some of our brand new Spectrum Noir markers, and let me show you. There is a right side and a wrong side of this transparency sheet. So when you color on the wrong side, it's going to almost take off the black lines. So you have to test it. You have to test which side is going to be the good side to color on. So I have this ½ inch by 12-inch piece here, and on my card I'm cutting it to 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, so I'll have a little bit of the end left over. So I'm going to take my pink marker, and I'm going to just go on one end here to see, is this the right side or the wrong side? And this is the right side. So let me show you on this one what happens when you have the wrong side that you're coloring on. That's the right side. Hard to tell sometimes. So, ooh, look at that. You're kind of rubbing off those black lines. So the black lines are printed on one side, and if you color with your markers, you're going to rub them off. So do that little test to see which is the right side and which is the wrong side. And this is my right side, so I'm going to cut this side up at 5 1/4 for my card, and now I know which side is the good side to color on. So this is pretty easy. This one is the magenta blend, and I'm using the dark shade. And I'm going to try to make these about the same. When I'm crafting, I'm much more of a, that's good enough kind of person. I'm by all means not a perfectionist. So I'm not counting my lines. In fact, I'm going to overlap a little bit just to carry that orange color next. And this is Coral Shades. Overlap a little bit. Yeah, when I'm much more of a crafter that eyeballs stuff rather than measures. Gold yellow blend for the yellow. So yeah, I thought this is kind of fun that you can color with the alcohol markers on these transparency pieces. Next up, the Alpine Green blend. I'm going to use the light. I think that was cute. A nice pretty color, I mean. Overlap it a little bit, extend it down. You want that? Maybe I want that a little darker. I'll go to that middle. Oh yeah, I like that better. Just overlap it a little. Okay, next the blue turquoise shades, and I'm using the light. Actually, I need to make that a little bit longer. Let's extend that green a little bit more. If you make a color chart with our markers, you can have that handy to look at to determine, do you need to use a light, a mid-tone, a dark? Just look at that handy dandy color chart to see which shades, which tones you're going to want to use. But it is kind of nice that you can just go to the middle, you know, make some of those blues a little darker. Going into that indigo of the rainbow. And lastly, I have pink violet blend, and I'm using the dark to get that purple. So there you go. Color your animation sheets with some markers. Use those leftover pieces to color, and thin cut shapes, and just color them up. So that is a really cute little effect. I have a little cluster of stars here. I didn't do anything with my stars yet, but you can see how cute they look. Whoop! Just colored them in. So they'll go on to something else. Alrighty, so next up, let's stamp a little bit. The colors that I'm going to use are Nectarine and Raspberry. And I'm going to take my little strips and lay them down at the top and the bottom just to gauge my placement of where to stamp. I don't want to glue them down and then stamp, because if I make a mistake, then I can turn this white cardstock over and stamp the B-side. So I'm using the Happy from that Wishing You Everything stamp set, and I'm going to do like an ombre inking up. I'm only going to ink up half of the stamp in the Nectarine. And then come to Raspberry, and I'm just starting at the bottom, and I'm kind of rolling up into the Nectarine. So it's kind of like stamp rolling, but just on the bottom half. And there you go. Now I have these little skinny strips of black glitter cardstock, so I can put those down too to gauge my spacing. And then some black ink, Wishing You A right above it, and Day on the bottom. Alrighty, there we have it. Some assembly required. Alrighty, so I mentioned before that when I glue these transparency sheets, I like to put glue kind of where the black lines are, and it's a little impossible, so I just kind of go over the whole thing here. It's not really going to show through much at all. right at the edge. So between your marker coloring on these transparency sheets and the black lines, your glue marks aren't going to show. I'm not worried about it. I kind of dotted it on my sample, and if you look really close, you can see it, but I'm not concerned about it. People aren't going to really see that. They're going to see that beautiful rainbow, and they're going to ooh and ah about that. Let's get this on the card base. So I hope you guys have fun with these Creativity in Motion stamps. And boy, there's all kinds of wonderful ideas out there. It has been lots of fun showing you some ideas, so I hope you feel inspired. All right, coming in the home stretch here. All right, so I will leave it at that. You can finish up this card with some bling. I took the alcohol markers and colored in some of our sparkles. I added a little bit of that silver thread. And this heart was just on my table from something else, and I put a little glue dot to stick down that thread and hide it with that little three-dimensional puffy heart. Really cute. But I do have the sparkles here, so I can just show you that real quick. If you haven't colored your sparkles and gems with alcohol ink markers, you really should. You should start to do that because it's gorgeous and fun. And the color takes to it so easily. I'll go around it on the transparency sheet just to get the sides. Turquoise blue is my absolute favorite. And because they're alcohol ink, it dries pretty darn quickly. So custom color your sparkles. I'm glad that we can get these. Gosh, I forget how many come in the pack. 100 pieces. So custom color, let's bring that a little closer so you can see. That beautiful turquoise blue. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Those were from the metallic markers. I kind of flashed that in my other video. So custom color your sparkles. It's beautiful. And then shimmer brush. I do have a tip for you with that. If your shimmer brush starts getting dried out, just unscrew this and put some tap water in there, and you can kind of breathe new life into your shimmer brush by adding some tap water in there. And then I just went over these alphabet letters here to give it some pizzazz. So extend the life of your shimmer brush. Add a little bit of tap water in there. So there's some real pretty shimmer on there. Alrighty guys, thanks so much for joining me, and happy crafting. Bye.